about to lose my job. You may not care about keeping your jobs, but I care about keeping mine. Because if I lose my job, I have nothing. Do you hear me? I have nothing.
Hold on, let's just pause for a minute, just to think. Are you someone who ties their self-worth through their jobs and accomplishments? Are you unhappy with where your life is right now? Do you sometimes feel like you're a loser? It's okay if the answer is yes. You're not alone. 40% of US adults say that they're dissatisfied with their personal lives. I tend to feel like this sometimes also. But over the past few months, I've learned to accept each day and appreciate the small things as achievements in themselves. And now I'm going to show you how to have self-respect for yourself using the character from Regular Show, Benson. It's safe to say that when we're introduced to Benson, he's a pretty much one-dimensional character. I mean, he's the boss. He shows up, gives Mordecai and Rigby a task. Of course, Mordecai and Rigby mess it up.
Whoa!
And then he says his catchphrase.
You be nice to your brother or you're fired. So you had better clean this mess up starting now or you're both fired. Say your mom you're fired. My mom? Get out!
See, we all know Benson has anger issues, but I mean, not really. It's really because of Mordecai's and Rigby's ignorance to do anything correctly. It gets so bad that he's always angry and yelling that Pops notice. He's like, bro, if you don't chill out, I'm gonna have to fire you.
Absolutely. I've already warned them one more screw up and they're both fired.
But, Benson, I was referring to you.
What?
I'd like you to stop yelling at Mordecai and Rigby.
You're kidding.
Of course, Benson falls in line because he doesn't want to lose his job. This haunts him so much, he legitimately started having nightmares about getting fired to this day.
Benson, you're fired! No!
I mean, this gets him hot to another level that we haven't seen him before. He just has to stand by and watch Mordecai and Rigby slack off and just do terrible things at the park. No matter how much it stresses him out, he has to be calm or he's fired.
I'm not gonna yell.
Oh, yeah. Sweet!
I'm not gonna yell.
This is Regular Show, so you know something crazy is about to unfold. From bottling up his emotions all day, Benson basically goes Super Saiyan, and him holding back his anger is about to destroy the park. In order to stop Benson from destroying the park, Mordecai and Rigby come up with the idea to try to make Benson yell at them.
What? We're the ones who keep sending pizzas to your apartment!
And we're the ones who switch to detergent with coffee.
But no matter what, he still won't give in because his job is on the line. This is only resolved until Pops gives him the okay.
Benson, I need you to yell at Mordecai and Rigby.
But if I yell, you'll fire me.
Forget what I said, Benson. If you don't yell at Mordecai and Rigby right now, you're fired.
What I'm trying to express here is that Benson values his job more than his own well-being and sanity. And this kind of represents the work environment in real life. I mean, a whopping 52% of Americans have to deal with hostile work environments. And a lot of them put up with it because they need to get paid. How many of you actually know what it means to have self-worth? Self-worth is the internal sense of being good enough and worthy of love and belonging from others. You see, do you surround yourself with people that respect and value you? And this is something that Benson struggled with. I remember the episode when Mordecai and Rigby were playing with the cart and they ended up crashing it in front of Maylard and Benson. Of course, Maylard blames Benson for this behavior and now he has to get the car fixed or he's fired. Benson was making pretty good time until he noticed Mordecai and Rigby hiding in the back. Of course, he was pretty mad, but this led into a very interesting conversation between all of them.
Why do you hate us so much? I don't hate you guys. I just hate some of the things you do. Okay, I really hate some of the things you do. I know you don't mean them, but I'm your boss, and it's my job to push you to do better.
They ended up coming to an understanding between each other, and you would have think things would have smoothed over after this. After driving all day, Benson is pretty tired, and Mordecai and Rigby suggest that they take over. Of course, Benson is hesitant at the idea because Mordecai and Rigby can't do anything right, but he ultimately gives in. Of course, Mordecai and Rigby stop at an arcade and forget what times it is, and Benson has to wake up in a hurry. This leads into one of the saddest moments in Regular Show where Benson has a mental breakdown.
We're in there for hours. Now we're never gonna make it to the dealership in time. It closes in 30 minutes.
We're sorry. We didn't know it was daytime. There aren't any windows in the arcade.
Excuses, excuses. How am I supposed to trust you when all you give me are excuses? Don't you two understand? I'm about to lose my job. You may not care about keeping your jobs, but I care about keeping mine. Because if I lose my job, I have nothing. Do you hear me? I have nothing!
You see, Mordecai and Rigby didn't have enough respect for Benson to understand how serious the situation was to him. I think any sane person would have quit after this event. But no, not Benson, because his underlying problem is that he doesn't see the value in himself. The episode The Gold Watch does a very good job of highlighting Benson's core problem. You see, the guys are out celebrating his 1,000th consecutive day at work, and so he's awarded a gold watch. Throughout the later seasons, it's made obvious that Benson has a wing problem, which is basically him being an alcoholic. He even went through his morning routine, which sounds actually crazy.
Set 3 alarm clocks every night, including this one. And then I leave my toast and coffee out the night before so that it's ready for me when I wake up.
You eat stale toast?
Yes, and I don't like it, not one bit. But I know that it'll all be worth it the moment that Mr. Maylard honors me with that gold watch.
Mordecai and Rigby introduced Benson to some fighter jet pilots that are also celebrating their 1,000th flight. They asked if he wanted to take a ride in their new jet, and Benson didn't hesitate.
Ow, my head. What could possibly go wrong between now and then?
Hey, Benson, you're not gonna believe this. These guys are celebrating 1,000 of something too.
Mordecai and Rigby!
The running joke is that as soon as Benson woke up, he tried to blame Mordecai and Rigby for these actions. But it turns out that it was Benson who really caused all of these problems and not them. The reason this episode is so entitled into discussion is because what Benson does after. He ends up stealing the jet again and moves so fast that he travels into the future. And what he finds is pretty scary.
Dude, where have you been for the last 3 months?
What?
What probably happened is that you went so fast that you actually traveled 3 months into the future.
We all thought you were dead, man.
Then if this isn't my gold watch ceremony, it's my...
memorial service.
And who are all of these guys?
They're applicants for the park manager position. They're waiting until after the service to be interviewed.
No! Without that watch, I am dead.
Benson decides that the best move is to try to go back in time to stop all of this from happening. Even with knowing he could potentially rip a hole in the space-time continuum, he still doesn't care.
Told you he'd make it.
9 a.m. on the dot. You did it, my boy.
It's beautiful.
So now you're probably wondering, how does Benson actually turn things around and discover self-worth? I think it's when he realized that he is more than an asset, yet the park itself. So we know Benson's biggest fear is to be fired, but what happens when he actually does get fired? Once again, in result of Mordecai and Rigby's reckless behavior, Benson is now demeaned.
So you're all anxious to get back to work, so let me make this brief. Bean Can, you're being demoted.
What?
I like how this shows how disposable some people can actually be. A good real-life example is you could be working for a company for 30 plus years. You could show up for 30 years straight and express the most amount of loyalty, but once you start slowing down, they could fire you in a heartbeat, or even yet replace you with the machine. You see, Benson being demoted, he's now forced to work with Mordecai and Rigby at the lowest level of chores there is. The only good thing that stems from this is Mordecai and Rigby teaching Benson how to slack off. During these events, Benson feels something that he hasn't felt in a long time, the feeling of being alive outside of work.
I feel great.
See, I told you all you needed was a break. Now do you feel like getting back to work?
No.
Wait, what? Dude, we have to go back to work eventually.
Yeah, right. I'm never working again.
This is until they're interrupted by Susan. We see Benson do something that we wouldn't expect him to do normally.
Why aren't you working?
'Cause I don't feel like it.
Get back to work or I'll fire you.
Yeah? Do it.
Excuse me?
I've wasted my whole life in a dead-end job, and I'm not wasting another second working for you. So go ahead and fire me.
Okay, Benson. You're fired!
If you think about it, this makes perfect sense. Why would Benson still work at a job that demoted him and doesn't see his true value as a leader?
My life's happening right now, and I'm gonna go live it.
While sitting on the bench, Benson runs into a very interesting character named Yoop.
Leon, but my friends call me Yoop. Former park manager, now full-time slacker.
How did you know?
I used to be the park manager.
Benson realized the sad reality of this outcome. Benson, like all of us, just wants respect. He never wanted to actually quit his job or get fired.
Hey, where are you going?
Gotta get my old job back.
Hello?
When he gets back, he sees something very disturbing. Everybody that works at the park is slowly turning into Susan. Benson immediately gets mad and responds with this.
Out! You're turning them into you! You can't do that! That's not how you manage a park!
What would you know about running a park?
I'll show you what I know. Mordecai and Rigby, start playing video games!
But we're supposed to clean!
Play video games or you're fired!
Through Benson's leadership, he was able to revert everybody back to normal. Susan grows into this grotesque rage monster, and in order to defeat Susan, Benson finally does what he wants. He demands respect.
Help me, Benson!
It's Benson! And I can't do anything unless you give me my old job back!
Okay, yes!
Utopia.
Thank you, Benson. Keep up the good work.
I have another question for you. Do you say no against requests or demands that make you feel uncomfortable, or go against your main values? Another good episode where Benson shows self-worth and respect is the Lunch Club. Because of Rigby's actions, Mr. Maylard gives an ultimatum. Benson and Rigby have to decide by the end of the day who's going to resign. Of course, Benson wanted to keep his job. He offers that Rigby decides to quit, and in return, he'll write him a stellar letter of recommendation. And Rigby, on the other hand, he's not falling for it. I like this episode because it shows that Benson, who's known to be a stickler for the rules, time to time loves a little risk.
I don't even understand half the reasons I do the things I do. I'm expected to be a clown, so I'm a clown. But clowns cry too, man. Clowns cry too.
He was right. Then I started working here. Well, I'll probably be until I die. Here lies some uptight park manager.
I really like how it was Rigby initiating the conversation. It really shows his growth over the years, and it's totally unexpected from someone like him.
Don't say that. You're more than that.
Thanks, man. And you're more than just a goof that messes things up.
After being forced to be stuck in a room all day, they end up coming to the decision that the job isn't worth them tearing each other apart, so they both decide to quit. If you ask me, this was the biggest power move Benson displayed. He isn't letting his job corrupt his morals and what makes him a good person. The reason I asked the question, are you willing to say no when things that make you uncomfortable? Because be honest, how many of you would have did what Benson did? A lot of us have bills and family to support, so if you're desperate enough, this could have took a dark turn. Or who knows?
Dear Mr. Maylard, we accept that we messed up, but you're crazy to make one of us write a resignation letter. P.S. Shove it, you decrepit old fart.
Funny thing about this ending is that since Maylard has bad vision, he asks Pops to read it for him. And after reading the note and realize what it actually says, Pops just lies so they get to keep their jobs. The Parky Awards is the final episode I want to show you that demonstrates Benson's learn for self-growth and self-worth. You see, Benson has the chance to win Park Manager of the Year, which normally gets taken by Gene, Benson's biggest rival.
Gene usually sweeps the awards, but I know for a fact that I have a chance this year.
Well, this seems like as good a time as any that we remember the fallen. Our park manager brethren, none of whom had won an award but will still be missed despite their lack of excellence.
To pay attention that after giving the respects to the dead people, he stated that they never won anything.
And now the award we've all been waiting for, the Park Manager of the Year Award. Get up here, Gene, you won.
This is Gene's 9th nomination and 9th win in this category.
Benson at this point was just mad, and I'm not sure if I can say rightfully so, because if he didn't deserve the award, then he didn't deserve it. But he also does have the right to feel angry that he didn't win it, because he felt like Gene didn't deserve it. While riding back in the limo, Benson realizes that he accidentally picked up Gene's award. What's funny is that they decided to go around and use the award to act like winners. To say that Benson only feels like a winner because he has the award in his hand, even though he didn't actually win it.
Night. I really just don't know what to say. Well, I know what I would have said if I'd won. It was a showstopper speech.
Like it or not, a lot of people base their happiness on their materialism. It's like if I asked you, would you be happy if your money in your bank account right now doubled? Of course more people are going to say yes, but would you still be happy if it didn't double? That's the real question. I think joy off materialism can only get you so far. And we see this with Benson. Before they can actually return Gene's reward, they have the idea to go to the ceremony so Benson can perform a speech. This is soonly interrupted by all the dead people that never won anything. I guess jealousy still remains in the afterlife.
You've got plenty of moments.
Yeah, isn't it enough that you're still alive? I never got to give a speech.
I think having dead people as the antagonist really makes it hit deep. Did you know 90% of people die with regrets? And theirs is that they never so-called achieved or accomplished anything while they were alive. They tried to steal the award for Benson, and then everybody started fighting. The way Benson stopped this is again by taking charge and from understanding where the ghosts are coming from.
We all just want the same thing. to be appreciated. So why are we fighting?
He ended up giving the ghosts all the time in the world to give the speeches that they wanted to perform when they were alive. This was such an honorable thing. And one common thing during all the ghosts' speeches is that they all wanted respect from their peers and others, desperately wanting that feeling of importance. When they all ascended to the afterlife, it's Benson's turn.
Benson! Thank you, thank you. It's a great honor to have received this award.
And the award for breaking and entering goes to Benson!
Of course, Jeans decides to steal the spotlight and take the award from Benson before he can give his speech. Benson, completely in shock, doesn't even care anymore and just decides to go home. Remember when I told you about the importance of surrounding yourself with people that respect you?
And the parky goes to Benson from Park. Come to the stage and claim your prize.
Speech, 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 speech.
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
Here you go, Benson. You deserve it.
This is really the best award I could win. Because of you, every day I come into work, I feel like a true winner. Thank you.
I think after this episode, Benson finally learned what it means to truly have self-respect for yourself. He went from somebody that was scared to lose his job to realizing that he is the job himself. Without Benson, the park would be nothing. He learned how to say no when he's put in uncomfortable situations. And best of all, he learned how to put trust in himself to make the right decision. This video was longer than expected, but I hope that you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and thank you for watching Media Munchies. Peace.